There are 7 reasons why you struggle to think fast and talk smart at work, or more specifically, to think fast and speak intelligently at work. And the first one is fear freezes your mind. You know those moments when you're in a meeting and your boss asks you a question or asks for your input and you freeze. Your mind goes blank. Stress builds up because people are waiting for you to respond, but you've got nothing. Nothing to contribute, no answer to their question. This is a lot more common than you think, and the reason your mind goes blank is because fear freezes it. Solomon Assine, author of this book, Think Fast, Speak Smart, says that fear can cripple the mind and temporarily distort or erase its content, leaving its victim helpless. And this is how it happens. When you are scared or when you perceive a threat, it triggers the fight or flight response in you, and all of your bodily functions go to the parts of the body that matter the most at that time for fighting and for running, and it switches off all other non-essential functions like cognitive thinking, which is what you need when you want to think fast and talk smart on the spot. So like Solomon Assine says, fear literally cripples your mind because that is not the function that's important during fight or flight mode. Yet in meetings, that's exactly the function that you need. In meetings, you don't have to be scared of tigers or of hunters, and that's not going to trigger the fight or flight response in you. But being asked a question from your boss and having to respond intelligently, that will absolutely trigger the fight or flight response in you. And your body will react in exactly the same way as though you were fearful of tigers or hunters coming after you. So try to overcome the fear that freezes your mind by using breathing techniques to calm yourself and also accustom yourself to speaking more. The second reason you can't think fast or speak intelligently is because you ramble or you have no structure to your communication. This could mean you either keep talking with long stories and explanations without ever providing the specific information that was asked, or it could mean that your thoughts are all over the place and the listener can't follow what you're saying. In either case, it's because fear cripples your mind, which means you can't think fast or speak clearly, which causes you to ramble or speak in a disorganized way. The way to overcome this struggle is like this. Once you've got your fear under control, like we talked about in the first point, then you need to identify the point or points in your mind before you start speaking. Then you need to speak to those points one by one. You can tackle disorganized thoughts by incorporating numbers or steps into your communication when you explain things, or by using a specific communication structure that's relevant for the situation you are in. I talk about communication structures in another video on my channel. Look for the video in the description titled Think and Speak Clearly on Your Feet, 3 communication structures. The third reason you can't think fast or speak intelligently is because you don't have enough vocabulary. Vocabulary or lexicon is the words that we use to convey our thoughts to another person. Multiple words put together make up a sentence. Multiple sentences put together make up a paragraph or a flow of thought, and this creates our communication. According to a study by The Economist, most adult native speakers of the English language have a vocabulary range of between 20,000 to 35,000 words. However, on a daily basis, we generally only use between 1,000 to 5,000 words. That's a lot of vocabulary that's going unused. And when words are left unused for a long time, although we're able to understand them when we read them or when we hear them, it diminishes our ability to actively recall them and use them in conversation when we need to. This is why you might be lost for words or unable to speak clearly on the spot. To help you broaden your vocabulary, I encourage you to read. Read out loud if you can. Keep a word journal to record the words that you pick up and that you want to use more in your communication, and make a goal to use those words at least once in the next week. The fourth reason you can't think fast and talk smart is because your communication is too complicated. What you want to say is too complex, it overwhelms you, and you can't break it down into a simplified explanation. If you're a knowledge worker or you have a specialized skill set and you've been in a situation where you've had to explain a complicated process to somebody else, you might be able to relate to what I'm saying. Complex concepts or procedures can be communicated clearly, but in order to do that, you need to put effort into simplifying it. If it's a procedure you're trying to explain, then start by breaking it down into steps, then numbering each step as you talk about them. If it's a concept you're trying to explain, start by giving a broad or general overview of that concept. What is it? Why is it important? Give an example that people might be able to relate to, and tell them how it can be applied. You can apply structure to almost anything that you want to communicate. I encourage you to start listening to structures that other people use when they communicate and when they explain things, especially like procedures and concepts. Take note from the way they do this, take note from the structure that they use, and then try to incorporate those structures into your communication. Then there's not being able to remember what you want to say, and this would naturally cause you to not think fast or talk smart. Sometimes this happens when you are stressed, like in a meeting, or if you're in a fast-paced conversation where other people are jumping in and talking over each other all the time, or if you're tired or distracted. There could be a variety of reasons as to why you don't remember what you want to talk about, but I encourage you to not get hung up on it. Simply move on to the next thought or the next idea that you want to talk about. This will keep your mind in a continuous flow, and chances are you'll eventually remember what you did want to say, and then you can loop back to it later on. And don't forget that not all of the pressure has to be on you. Good communication doesn't mean it has to be a monologue. A lot of the success in communication comes from the exchange between the people involved. When you realize that not all of the pressure should be on you, you will release yourself of unnecessary stress, and it will help you to think faster and talk smarter on the spot. So if you're in a conversation with someone, open up space for them to contribute their thoughts. And when they do contribute, then you should respond with your own thoughts or with follow-up questions. This two-way exchange can help you come up with thoughts or ideas in your mind, helping you to think faster on your feet, helping you to think of smart things to say. Essentially, you can leverage the other person in the conversation to think fast and talk smart. And it's also really important to prepare your mind to think fast and talk smart. This is really about priming your mind and readying it for fast-paced and intelligent conversations. So you want good brain health. Jim Quick is an expert on this topic. I encourage you to check out his channel on YouTube. You want a large knowledge base from which you can draw on to communicate or to comment. You want broadened and improved vocabulary to be readily available to you. You want varied but simple sentence structures to help you explain things better. And you want organized thoughts to help you communicate clearly. All of this put together will help you to think fast and speak intelligently. And the best way to practice this is through the read, write, speak method, which I talk about in this video up here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and got some valuable tips from it. If you did like it, please hit the like button below. Subscribe to my channel as well for more content like this that I share every week on leadership. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.